We back. So, with that said, I'm going to wait a couple minutes to get a couple viewers in, and then we're going to talk our smack, like smack. So y'all know today we have a little bit more of a crowd today because our program director for Tap In is back from vacation, and Jimmy is back down. So it's us three today. So let's take a look at how that looks. You dig? So we're gonna go around right quick for everybody who is just popping in. Every day we're gonna get on here. We're gonna press record. We're gonna go live, and we're just gonna talk on whatever we want to talk about. That's just what we're doing at this stage. So that's all. Don't mind us. But with that said, to my left, we have introduce yourself to the stage here. I don't hear you so well. Can you talk right into that mic there? Mic check. I'm just trying to make
think
sure.
she's low on my end too.
Oh, your end too?
Yeah, no, I hear. I think she's low on my end. You can hear. You can.
Yeah, I can't either. That's what they're gonna find out right now, though. Let's see what's going on here. Because I can hear you, but you don't hear yourself in headphones, right? No. Mic check. All right, no worries. Jimmy, you can hear yourself?
Yep.
Jimmy, go ahead and pop in. Let me know. Let everybody know a little bit about you, and while I get this situated.
Well, there ain't much to talk about. Coming to me, but yeah, I'm Jimmy Wallace, owner, proprietor of Demiurge Clothing Company, clothing boutique, 116 Chicago Avenue in Oak Park. Everybody eats food supply. No, I said that wrong. It's not food supply. Supply company. I'm hungry right now. Forgive me. Everybody eats. Supply company. Non-for-profit and back to life. Non-for-profit. That's pretty much me, an all-around hustler, entrepreneur, and solid dude at the end of the day.
Praise God. You already know. Let me trying to make sure that this stuff here is good. Let me can I get a mic check again?
You got it. Me too.
Oh, can you hear yourself now?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you better now. Try that one more time.
1, 2.
Okay, good. I hear you better. All right, so go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit, Rasha, so they can know who they're getting dialogue from.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Rasha Myers. Wear a couple different hats. The most exciting one right now is program director here at Tap In. So I am excited to help everybody get their podcast going and all around marketing ventures. So, because we're a one-stop shop for all marketing needs. So, other than that, I'm a mother, business owner. I like entrepreneur myself, like you guys. I own a not-for-profit called Skill Bridge, which helps bridge the gaps for inner city youth and entrepreneurial careers. So, excited to be here. This is my first live experience.
Good. Praise God. Glad that we can provide that for you here. So listen. So yesterday, I'm still upset. Jimmy, I'm upset about yesterday, Jimmy.
I feel your energy, brother.
That was a lot. So to catch up, Rasha, yesterday we did a show and we were speaking on the Olympics, on the image, and because they portrayed the image of God, we chose to fact check that image with history and provide and see if it matches up with historical data and research didn't at all. It didn't stack up to the hieroglyphs. It didn't stack up to the Torah, the Word of God itself. It didn't stack up to the physical descriptions of the Israelites and all. So even Jesus being a Nazarene, he had to have dreads at least for some point during his vow of a Nazarite, because you're not allowed to shave your head. You have to grow your locks out, and he was definitely the Nazarene. You know what I mean? So he probably had the king of locks. So we spoke on it, and we dispelled the myth of Caesar Borgia, and they still blocked us. They blocked it.
Sorry, I missed it.
Yeah. So we're gonna speak about it again, though. I'm gonna speak about it again without the additional references on their website and whatnot, so that I don't give them a reason to try to block it. But so I am going to put. Let me get the banner up right quick here. So Olympic blasphemy. We're back down. Okay. Let's get this situated. Olympic blasphemy. They depicted a Last Supper, and I found out some new stuff too since then. They depicted the Last Supper of all the disciples were transvestites, and the image of God himself was I think it looked like an Irish dude, half naked on the table, laying down like in a very perverted way. How is that not a complete attack on one specific religion in the center of a world united sporting event? So half the people who are at the sporting event identify with the mockery that you did. Like half of them like, hey, I'm Christian. And then you mock the entire religion. I'm not here to debate whether any religion is right or wrong at this stage in this conversation, but just the fact that they have the nerve to disrespect an entire religion. So what I found out, though, new evidence, new information, Jimmy, that the program director that directed the actual Olympic ceremony, he is a Talmud Satanist on the record. Now you kind of see where it comes from. So he was definitely dog whistling and putting that out there. But what do you think about that? What do you think about them mocking Christ and mocking an entire religion and the people who follow at a world stage that's supposed to be a united world event? What do you guys think about that? Rasha, go ahead.
Put me on the spot first.
Of course.
So, I was shocked to see it. I found out about it through other people because, my first question is how many people watch the Olympics and how many people watch the opening act? But, I heard about it through kind of other people. And when I went online trying to find images, it was difficult to find. But the one I did see was shocking to me. I did see similarities between it and the photo of the Last Supper. And, kind of Da Vinci's image of God where he's laid out touching the finger, and they had the purple man, like a Smurf looking guy in the front, kind of duplicating that. So, I think my first thought was, and this might be a stretch, so bear with me, but my first thought was, like, those images themselves are a depiction of an event, right? We don't know that the Last Supper looked that way. It's a portrait made by a Roman,
in the first place,
right? So
we can't say he was actually there,
right?
Painting real people,
right?
These may be figments of his imagination.
Absolutely, they are. I mean, they absolutely are. Like he didn't live during that time, right? Like this is somebody, an artist, right? Who we know some really great artists now who might go back and depict the scene, but that doesn't mean that they were there. It's no accuracy necessarily to scene that was depicted. So I did see similarities between the imagery, right? I'm referring to them, even though I know one has a very strong emotional tie to Christianity, right? The image of the Last Supper, we're emotionally tied to that. We grew up seeing it in churches, we grew up in our household, etc. But I kind of felt like about those images, I kind of feel the same way I feel about people wearing like a cross or something like that, right? Like these are images of something that we're supposed to remember, not necessarily the real thing. So I wasn't emotionally impacted by the imagery of seeing, the one that was done recently at the Olympics. Now, to the point, it was breathtaking that because it is such a strong imagery related to Christianity that somebody would have the audacity to recreate it. And, without getting tied down in like who should love who and who loves what, and there's a message behind it that I think that the person, Satan or not, was trying to paint, and that was, like maybe we all have a seat at the table, right? Or maybe we all, because we know that there's a lot of inclusive language and inclusive thoughts going on now. So I think it was controversial, to say the least. I think that it was very strong imagery, a very strong message was trying to be painted. I think it was poorly executed. I think that, I didn't look at it and I wasn't like, oh, this is exactly what he was trying to do. So in that, it was poorly executed, right? Because if you're going to take the time, the effort, the energy to do something so controversial, make sure that people know exactly what you're trying to go after, right? So those were my preliminary thoughts. I thought poorly executed, and you could have kept that for something else. Let's try again. Try again later.
I agree, Jimmy. What do you think on that?
Frank, I'm just here today. I'm trying not to get canceled, bro. Like, that's it. I said a lot of what Ms. Rusher said, but mine was not articulated
so nicely
and so sensitive to the topic. But hey, I found out they were transvestites today. That's different. And it was a satanic thing. So I appreciate the fun facts. Yeah. What do you think?
I think it is part of the world agenda. They've been doing it for a while now. If you want to take over the world, you have to stop men from doing what men do. And men are naturally going to fight against certain threats. So if you got men thinking they're women and women thinking they're men, ain't nobody going to fight nothing. They don't know what to do. They don't know who they even are. They're completely in an identity crisis. And they do it to our children. They put these images in schools, and because think about it like this. We put homosexual stuff in a school and expose the children to it. Okay. We know every student that's exposed to it is not going to become gay. But there are kids who are going to get exposed to it. They're going to get confused enough to shift their life in a direction and have experiences maybe they shouldn't, and end up adopting completely the idea of being a homosexual. So the thing is, though, they do this stuff. They program, and like in the school, for example, I'm using that as an example. You want to put some, listen, you want to put it up, fine. Put it up right next to the 10 Commandments, and put it up right next to the laws of Maya, and put it up right next to the Hindu stuff. Give them all the choices. Why are you isolating what you're exposing them to one thing? Is what I'm saying. No other religion is allowed in school anymore. You can't have no religion in school, but you're exposing them to this. You have to. Hey, if you think that's the way, well, put them all in school, expose them to all of them. Then I'll believe there's no agenda. I believe you're giving them options to consider. But if you're literally giving them one option, this is indoctrination and colonization, in my opinion. And it's devil worship. They're Snoop came on after with the Baphomet chain. Like, you're literally wearing a chain of Baphomet. Like, you're idol worshiping right now. Like, because that's not like, even if you wore a fake Caesar Borgia Jesus piece, we still know you're trying to represent God. You're trying to say that's God on your emblem, even though we know that's not really God. Right. So who are you trying to say Baphomet is? What message are you sending with that? And then later, the horse with the wings and the apalik riding on the rudder, there's like the pale horse type of scene. They literally, they know exactly what they're doing. They're playing their part, and they're letting everyone know we know our part, and we're playing our part. You guys think it's fake. They're playing their part. So I think it is dangerous, and they're boycotting it. I think a bunch of people in France are boycotting now. There's a company who pulled out. It's a cable company that operates in America that completely cut all their funding to the Olympic Games off because of this, knowing that they're going to lose the exposure that funding would have created. I'm probably going to change my cable for them. You know what I mean? Like, they went in front of the whole world and say, we don't support none of you. You're mocking Christ. This is terrible. We don't want nothing to do with the Olympics. You know what I'm saying? Why not everyone? Where's everybody at? Where's everybody else not doing it? People are doing it, but where are these all these big conglomerates and companies that say they're Christian or have Christian values, or no one's saying anything. So at the end is devilish. It's devilish. It's intentful. It is harmful to little children, and all they know what they're doing. So I'm very disgusted by it.
We live in hard times, right? Like, I love people who have accepted those things or in that world. And we have conversations often about our beliefs and how they differ, and no love lost, right? Like, I love them wholeheartedly. That's my family. But I do often say it's certain things that I want my children exposed to, and there's certain things that I do not want my children exposed to, right? I think that it goes to the same thing as like gun violence and drug and alcohol use. Like, you can do whatever you want to do personally in your space, in your time, but I don't necessarily want that around my children, right? Like I said, as the scripture, as for me and my household, this is how we're going to do things. And I do feel like there are certain things that happen in the world, and I can speak like that to that point about it being an agenda. Like, there are certain things that are happening in the world where it's like, wait, I'm getting a little less control over what my children are exposed to, right? So, in the space of everybody's free to do what they want to do, which they are, right? Like, as for me and my household, I don't want my children exposed to that. I limit the amount of gun violence that they see. I don't allow them to play. Now, they might sneak off and do it, but I don't allow them to play gun video games and watch shows where people are getting shot up, because I don't want them to think that in their young mind that's acceptable. Like, if somebody now later on, what they choose to do, if they choose to go out and to the gun range and get guns, whatever, like, that's on them, right? But it's like, as a child, I don't want them growing up thinking that there are no consequences to the action. So playing a video game and you're so used to seeing the imagery of somebody getting shot and falling out that you think this is something acceptable. No, if somebody is harmed in front of you in that way, then I want you to, realize that this is something serious, and you know this is something you need to get away from. And I'm saying that to say, like, compare it to this whole thing of the imagery associated with the Olympics and just TV period, right? Like all the shows, every show, everything is represented. And I know people have been fighting battles for a long time to be seen. I get that. But it's also like, I don't know that I necessarily want my kids to see every option that's out there. I want them to learn, grow, mature. Like we know the brain isn't necessarily mature until a certain age, right? Like let them grow into certain things. Not at 8 years old be exposed to everything. So I do think it's an agenda. I will agree with that.
Give me more words.
I'm just trying not to get canceled, Franco. Nah, but I agree with everything. I agree with everything she said. And we do have to like even hone in on the importance of recognizing that things that they're exposed to and accessible to can play into their impressionable mind. Just these video games, if you're sitting up playing GTA Grand Theft Auto all day and you snatching and carjacking people, they're allowing you to carjack people, they're allowing you to snatch people and rob people and kill them and take their car. All of these are felony crimes, and they make it fun and making it attractive, and sometimes art imitates life, or vice versa. What's the other one with the guns? The army game or whatever. Accessibility to that and killing people every day, it does play into these kids' mind, and then it plays out on the street. Then you're doing that all day, but then you're seeing certain things in real life. But then you turn on the nightly news and you see such and such how many people got shot. All gun violence, all guns. So I salute you for that, for regulating that. I spoke with a young man at a shop talk we had not too long ago, and I asked him, who's on social media and who got, everybody raised their hand except for this one said, no, I don't have it. And I told him, stay like that, because it becomes addictive, not just for kids, for grown-ups too, but kids more importantly, because kids at that point, kids still have imagination. Kids are still impressionable. So, you could regulate that. In terms of just the whole, the Christian thing and them mocking Christ, hey, it's a place for him. And you say satanic. So at the end of the day, he didn't already know what he signed up for. He believes in what he signed up for. So, it's a place for him. I let God sort them out.
Mm-hmm.
And I leave that at that. I don't have, I can't judge them. I can't do none of that. But I do know there's a place for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my take on everything, right? Yeah. Like, no judgment.
Yeah.
I just want the right to be like, as for me and mine. I don't want these things in my household, right? And it runs a gamut. It's not just one area; it's a lot of different areas. But
and I hate that we live in a society that like that nowadays. That I've been playing since I've been here today about this cancel culture based off what they did yesterday. It was hilarious, but it's a real thing now where you can't speak on certain things, but you involuntarily are being brought in it. Your kids are being brought in it, and I don't think that's fair. And you got to keep your mouth shut to a certain extent, because you may offend somebody, but nobody cares how they offended you and yours.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
That's not cool.
There's certain people that nobody cares how they offend, like Christians, right? Like I kind of feel like,
let me pose a question then. Do you feel, speaking on feelings, do you feel that the current Christian climate is partly to blame for the Christian mockery? Like the way that mainstream, I don't want to confuse, and I'll just make this clear, I don't want to confuse biblical Christianity or biblical practices with mainstream Christianity. They're not the same. They're not the same. Things change in time, like laws, statutes, commandments, Sabbath days, feast days. It's a different program than it was back then. Biblically, it's a completely different program. So with that change of program in time, do you think that's part of what's causing people to be so comfortable disrespecting modern Christianity, at least?
Mm. But first of all, do commandments change? I don't think they supposed to change.
No, they're not. They're forever. Everything that was instituted forever was forever.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, though, because even the imagery that they show was against the commandments, you know,
100%.
that it was so my question really is that maybe I pose it in a different way.
I got what you. Yeah,
Okay,
I
okay.
get what you were saying. Yeah. Go ahead.
So I think that this generation is different, and we're different in the sense that we aren't fighting the same. Well, okay, let me rephrase that, because I was going to say we're not fighting the same battles. We are fighting the same battles, but I think that the battles look a little different. So, before it was like, you can't eat at this counter. That's something very obvious. We can all rally behind it. We can all say, we're going to try to get a seat at this counter, right? But now the battles are more, they're different. It's like making it in corporate America and dealing with the passive aggressiveness of our peers, etc. And so I say all that to say that I feel like this generation is also healing a lot of the wounds that came from previous generations. Now, in previous generations, when we were fighting to sit at the counter, we also know that we were able to do more abusive things to one another because the rights were a little different. So it was like, hey, I was talking to a friend about this earlier, where it's like, what happens in our household stays in our household, right? And what happens in our household is you getting your butt beat. You know what I'm saying? Somebody getting an extension cord to whoop you. Somebody is tying you to the, like when you hear people. Yes, when you hear people's stories of the things that they've experienced, their grandparents and their parents have experienced, it's like it's a lot of trauma. And so I'm saying all that to say that a lot of us grew up in Christian church, right? Baptist, those are to me all under the Christian umbrella, and so, and also the difference, right, between Bible following and Christian, but that's not the conversation right now. But like Baptist, Methodist, they all fall under the Christian umbrella. And in saying that, people grew up in churches and they were kind of exposed to things like the pastor doing something that he wasn't supposed to do. He lying, he taking the money, sleeping with the grandma. So in that, you have a generation of people who are now saying, I don't trust the church, right? I don't trust the church. And hey, I realize that I'm a little different from everything that was preached at the church, because there are the rules that the Bible says, but then there are also the rules that the culture and the congregation had, right? Like if you come in with a skirt that looks like this, you're a hussy, you're a fag. Right. I was gonna say that word. I was like, can I say that word? But right, like
you better be careful now.
Right? Like you bad. And then women of color, our bodies develop, right? So we little girls coming in with the same clothes everybody else is wearing, but if I'm one whose body has developed, my behind is, certain size, and all of a sudden I'm fast, and that's the image of me that's put out there, when I could really just be like, oh, I'm still playing with Barbie dolls. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not even thinking about boys, but I'm fast because my body looks a certain way. And so, to your point, Franco, your question about, have our beliefs and the way we hold up the church, does that allow people to then mock the church? I mean, I think with everything, right? Like, if the head is rot, the whole thing is rot, right? So right now, Absolutely. Now, how would that be 10 years from now, 15 years from now? I don't know, right? People are moving away from church, but there might be a movement back. I don't know what the future holds, but I think the head is right. I think that we're all trying to find a place now where we fit, where we understand who we are, where we feel comfortable in our skin, and we kind of not carry on the traumas from past generations onto the next generation. So the head is right. And yes, us not being together to unite, to say, hey, we won't accept this, it's absolutely allowing people to come in and do things to us and say things, and do things that don't represent the church as a whole and kind of get away with it.
Yeah, mock us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think to, that question too, I think the church, yeah, if you're saying open themselves to be mocked, I think to a certain extent, yes. I think the ball was dropped a long time ago. I think one of the ways I've always felt, whether Christianity, Baptist, whatever religion, they taught people to be, you led with almost like you have to be perfect. And they don't explain, the word tells you to live Christ-like, not to try to live to be Christ. You're human. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, yes, strive to try to be righteous as possible. But you're human. Even after so long, the pastors couldn't live like they were without sin. They tried to hide it for so long. And it just started being uncovered that, and then you're also dealing with men as the head. Men have an ego problem.
No.
Yeah, we do.
Man.
Well, not me. I'm not saying.
Oh, not you.
But, I'm one of the few that don't. But,
Let you tell it.
Let me tell you. No, but men have an ego problem, right? And once you start giving titles to things, pastors, senior pastors, junior pastors, first ladies, all this, everybody wants to be in search of that. Everybody wants to be validated. So now it's like a gang. You trying to work your way up through the ranks. And sometimes you got to kill a few people. Sometimes you got to backstab a few people to get to where you're going. That happens in the church. You know what I mean? So now you have people that are seeing that we keep doing all this praise and worship. We running around and doing all this, collecting the tithes and offers and all these things. And the opposite side of that is you see your pastor. And here's my thing. The pastor's supposed to, if he's representing you, he's representing the church, he's representing God, and he's saying that, God is the God of abundant blessings and this and that. He shouldn't be walking around here looking poor. He shouldn't be this and that. So I'm not getting into it where it's about he drive this car, he drive that. But I do point that out when this person's light bill, they couldn't handle it, their house getting foreclosed on, and they've been giving you they giving the church their tithes and offerings every week faithfully, believing in His word that you spend to them. And then when it's time for them to seek some help, all you can do is offer them a prayer. That ain't I can't roll with that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't roll with that. But when it's time to get the building together,
common.
I need y'all to pitch in. I need y'all. Some of these old ladies.
That building fund always works.
You feel me? Some of these old ladies, these grandmothers and stuff like that, they man, they come from the old school. They really do believe in God. They really do believe in Christ. They put everything on it. And I think a lot of them get swindled by way of who's supposed to be the head of that thing. So that in itself, when that plays out in their own congregation, in their own house, and into the streets, and so many other that share the same stories, that's a mockery in itself. And not only is it a mockery to Christians, it makes it look like a mockery to God Himself if a person ain't spiritually enough to know that God is separated from this foolishness.
Absolutely. That's the representation of God, right? Like, people think, like, if they grew up going to this church, right? Mm-hmm. That's who they feel God is and wherever they feel God is. Like nobody's saying, "Oh, God is in this place, but not in this place," right? Like, no, he's here with the pastor, with the church, where I've gone, where I've grown up my whole life. So, you know, I have, to your point, I have seen quite a few, especially the videos on, especially now, like social media, people are exposing everything that's ever happened, right? But I don't know, it was viral maybe last year or so, a video of a guy who went into a church and snapped off on the pastor because the pastor was refusing to bury his mother after his mother had tithed at that church for, 40 something years, given everything she had, every last penny, to everything to keep the church going. And it was like they didn't have any money to bury her, and the pastor was refusing to bury her, right? Like refusing to do the funeral services. And so, where's the love in that, right?
Yeah.
Like, where's the fruit of the spirit?
Well, people got to realize
kindness,
too
the
that
sharing.
church, man, I hate to say it, but it is what it is. Church is a business. Church is a business. And business don't have feelings. It don't have this and that, and it's meant to run. That's why every week, we got to make sure after all this is put on, and I'm not going to say it's a show because people are really there praising and feeling, you know what I mean? But let's be clear. You ever had a glimpse behind them doors before they walked out there? You had a listening ear to what them conversations like before they stepped out there. Also, as a business, these lights got to get cut, stayed on. It's a lot goes on with it. So I think that in itself, man, they need to, get back to what the church really is about. The church could be saved. It don't have to constantly be a mockery. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to.
I do want to interject real quick to add, though, keep in mind, when we speak it in truth, in truth, just to be clear, the church is the people first. The church is not in the building. You can have a church that is
everywhere.
A building. Yeah, the church can be a building, but the church itself is the people.
Come on, man.
You don't need a building for that. Because churches do often run like that. They run like businesses and whatnot. And I know there has to be has to be done decent and in order. But I agree, if you have a family that's putting their money in and they trust in God and they say, and God is saying, hey, look, give up what you got, even 10%. If it's and at times, even if it's your last, have faith. So they have this understanding in their heart, this seed in their heart, and they're saying to themselves, well, I have nothing to fear, because if for whatever reason Satan tempts me or God, chastises me a little bit, I have the church here. Like the church can help me. I pay tithes, and even the Bible says, hey, pay your tithes and have this money in my storehouses to, and to help my people. And he says, and if you have crops, leave the corners of your crops for all the homeless people. You have to actively be giving something away. And I don't see churches, I see them doing it as annual events and stuff, but I don't see them all the time, at least, really zoning in and catering to the people there and their specific needs, outside of like what they preach. You know what I'm saying? Like the preaching is good, I guess. The music is really good these days, and all of the entertainment is great. But who's being really helped? And like you said, you got some preachers, they got really fancy houses and cars, and people in your same congregation are having trouble with bills or with, and hey, I get it. Sometimes, even whether a business owner, preacher, whatever, if you have someone who's self-destructive, willfully self-destructive, you're gonna have to deal with the consequences to your actions. But when you got somebody who's struggling, because we already understand systemic racism and the things that are put in place to keep certain people in certain situations, from being able to really thrive and to stay a consumer, You know, we know this stuff is going on. You know what I'm saying? So like, why? It's so churches these days, man. I mean, there was a church that said, one of my buddies said, you know, they was having a hard time and they didn't want to come to me about it. He said, hey, man, we went to the church and whatnot, and they said we had to pay them back. If they gave us something, we had to pay them back. I was like, huh? You've been paying tithes all this time. You got so it's a loan? They're going to loan you the money? Like, this is a church, you going to loan them? I was like, man, I just didn't like how that felt. You know what I'm saying? I was like, you know, listen, I ain't got no fun rate. I'm a business owner. Ain't nobody give me no free money. I ain't, like, pictures, y'all ain't got no real staff. You got to pay.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's tax free. You know what I'm saying? Like, all these benefit, you know, to make it easy to help the people. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason I have to pay every employee, pay for everything that I do have. It's not like I don't sell the word of God. You know what I'm saying? Like, I sell products. I have to pay for my products, and and if I could find a little room to help, you know what I mean? Like, and I pay for all my employees. I pay for, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing coming to me for free, and if I can find a little room to help, it sucks to hear that. You know, so churches out here just really fleecing the people. Really, at this point, they're the people who go to the church. Like, not all the churches, by the way. You got to understand what truth and not truth. You got to read the Bible to understand this thing.
Yeah,
right? Yeah, because
not all of them.
Here and say that I have an experience very like some kindness, charity from churches. I've witnessed it my entire life from several different churches. But you know, you go ahead and finish your point.
No, you're right. You're right. Yeah. No, I didn't want. No, because I'm speaking to a section of Christianity. I wanted to say it like that. I'm not speaking of and in my initial thoughts, you know, there's a biblical Christianity. I'm not addressing biblical Christianity whatsoever. There's a beautiful biblical Christianity. There's commandments. There's God. There's people. There's redemption. There's eternal life. And then there's this stuff that they got out here that got men dressing like women, depicting the disciples and all the stuff that they got going on. So that's what I'm speaking to, the chaos. And then it's leaking over into the functional chaos that we actually see. Sunday to Sunday, Sunday to Sunday, Sunday to Sunday. Everybody come out in their best clothes on Easter, in their best clothes on this day, on that day. You know, listen. When I just got to say it, okay? I'm sorry, y'all. I got to say it. When you try to blow smoke up my butt, man, you're going to tell me Christ going to die on the Good Friday. Okay? Then you're going to tell me he resurrected on Easter Sunday morning. I can count, bro. God said he's going to be in the grave for 3 days and 3 nights. Friday to Sunday is a day and a half. Who lying? This is the type of foolery I don't need. This is when I see such a big disconnect, when everyone is going to get all their Easter's best and spending all their money and painting eggs from a rabbit, which are fertility signals in history. By the way, people don't understand this. These are symbols of fertility, eggs and rabbits. You understand? When you're doing this stuff and you expect me to do, not only to do it, to keep a straight face, like, to act like I don't know, like, this is ridiculous. This is why it gets mocked, because everyone can go on Google and see clearly that what you're practicing today in the Christian church has nothing to do with biblical Christianity. None of it. It's a mockery. It's all a mockery, and that's why they get mocked, probably. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but Franco too. Here's the thing about that too, right? What you just said about Easter and all that. You also got to know it's deeper than that. You also got to know when you're dealing with a people, and not just the people, because other races celebrate it as well. So I'm not just going to focus on us in terms of the people, but I know when we're talking about us, we ain't never had nothing. So the truth can be right in our face. But if it makes us feel good at that time, man, let's celebrate Christmas. Let's celebrate Easter. Let's celebrate Halloween or whatever. We ain't finna go do no fact checking. You could put it right in our face. But when you suffer from a lack of excitement and enjoyment and feeling something, happiness, you're gonna take the perception. You're gonna take the deception over the truth, and it's sad. So we can say it's a pagan holiday all day long. You can say this all day long. We don't care because that's the day that makes us happy. That's the day that makes our family come together.
You know, when I talk to people, that's usually what they say,
Yeah.
right? It's like, oh, I get it, but all of my family is off work that day, so we all get together, right? Like, oh, I get it,
Mm-hmm.
but what am I gonna do?
Like we
Not
have no
give
other
my kids.
options.
I'm not gonna give my kids
Mhm.
something that, you
Mhm.
know, and they go back to school and they're gonna have to sit there while their friends talk about everything they got. Like people
Mhm.
think that is. I've heard people go as far as to be like, that's child abuse. Like, why would you not get your child something, or
Mhm.
why would you deprive them of something? You know, when everybody else is doing it, and they're gonna have to sit there and be isolated and alone, surrounding their thoughts and beliefs on that day. And you know, I wonder if people don't recognize how many people there are in the world and the fact that just because everybody on your block does it, you know, like that doesn't mean that everybody in your neighborhood does it. That doesn't mean everybody in your city does it. That doesn't mean everybody in your state does it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's more outside of what you're exposed to. And when you look, people are like, you know, because my family, as for me and my household, we don't celebrate Christmas, and that's always been an area of contention when I talk to people who do. Right? They're like, I can't believe you raise kids and they don't do this and they don't do that. And it's like, well, you know that there are tons of nations of people who don't celebrate Christmas. Like even here, America's a melting pot of people. Like if I go out on December 25th to the bowling alley, I'm surprised how many people are there. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
you if I go to a Chinese restaurant, you'd be surprised if they open like, oh, you want chicken fried rice? Like, absolutely. You know, and there's so many other nations who don't celebrate. And so, you know, when you realize that, and I guess it makes it a little easier. However, you know, there are people, like you said, who are just like, this day makes us happy. And then people also stuck to tradition. My family.
That's more so what it is.
Mama,
Tradition over truth.
That's what. Good one, Franco. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Even look at the GOAT, right? Look at the GOAT, Michael Jackson, in terms of entertainment, right? Raised Jehovah's Witness. No Christmas. No, a lot of things. As soon as he was able to get away and stand on his own, he went to see what that feels like. He experienced that. You know what I mean? And whether it was right or wrong, it shouldn't be celebrated or not, he needed to feel that because they also dealing with the pressure of society, going back to what you said about the kid going back to school and he's isolated, sitting there not knowing what that feels like. So even in our protection of them, I'm not gonna say we necessarily harming them, but we also put but you know, we inadvertently putting them in harm's way when we go have them go back to the environment that is totally opposite of what we're sheltering them from. You know what I mean? And even what I just said, there is no right or wrong in that. I actually salute you for educating and putting it, you know, keeping certain things from your kids and teaching them right now. How it might end up, I don't know.
Right.
But it's for you to do that right now to educate. They can never say you didn't give them that.
Agreed, right? I grew up with this is before I was even aware of Christian. I was just doing what my parents did every week, right? As our means of worship. And I did notice, you know, as I got older, a lot of them kind of rebelled. They were like, oh, like I'm free now. You said about Michael Jackson, I can do whatever I wanted to.
100%.
And some of them went to, you know, celebrating Christmas, celebrating birthdays.
Yep.
I do think that there's a lot of pressure. Like I know there's a lot of pressure, right? To be a certain way in this world. And so, you know, one thing's for sure, I'm not naive enough to realize that hey, I could choose one thing and my children can choose another.
Mm.
That actually happened with me and my parents, right? My parents raised me a certain way and I got to a certain age and chose something else. And so I want that for them. Like, go out. I've raised you according to what I believe to be the truth, right? I've shown you facts. We've sat down, we've talked about it, we've talked through your feelings. But if you get to the point where you feel like it's something that's out there for you, like, I love you, I'll support you,
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that that's what parenting is kind of all about, is realizing a life period, because it goes back to the topic that we've been discussing this whole time. You can't control everybody else, right?
Not at all.
All you can control is yourself, really, and your minor children.
And what
To a
is
certain
life
extent.
about in general? A series of experiences. How you gonna stop somebody from doing, you know what I mean? Their whole entire life. Nah, they got to experience it. And if you put good enough principles and integrity and morals into them, they'll return back to what they'll always remember that. You know what I mean? Or it may just not be the path for them that we put them on. But we got to lead them, put that right stuff in them early. And hopefully they'll return back to it when they find themselves in the space. They can remember that, because your child is hearing everything you say and do and instruct them to do in those four walls, confines of your house. When they step out that door, it's society, it's the world that's going against what you told them, the influence of that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So even with the Jehovah Witnesses and the other people that don't celebrate certain things, right? I think where they dropped the ball, the religions or the parents that's a part of that took those religions and teaching their kids that, where they dropped the ball is that I think they lack balance. When you look back on it, whether it's the Michael Jacksons or whoever, right, that had to go through that, all right, if you're taking away all these things, you're not allowing me to do or partake in all these things that look like it bring happiness. Where's my happiness at when I'm not doing any of these things? I'm living regular life. Y'all got so many restrictions. I can't dress like this. I can't go here. I can't go there. I can't listen to this. So what are you doing as my parent to suffice for the happiness that I'm missing? Where the balance come in at? Or do I just got to live like I'm perfect the whole entire time?
Yeah, we see that with pastors kids too. You know how they turn out.
Man, listen.
You know what they say about Pastor PK?
Yeah, but kids are rebellious too, and even if, most kids rebel against parents. If you happen to be a pastor, then it's going to reflect differently for you. But you can be a janitor, you can be a CEO, a business owner, you can be rich, you can be poor. Kids are going to eventually want to exercise their own right to make decisions. And they usually need to do it counter to the parent. Even kids who listen to their parents will find reasonable points of disagreement. They can have a self-identity.
Mm-hmm.
So
but do you think that's what they're fighting for?
No.
Ultimately, is their own identity?
What do you mean?
When you say they'll find certain things purposely or reasonably to have a self-identity,
well,
or whatever.
part of it, yeah, because we got to understand that as parents, our children don't belong to us.
There you go.
They belong to God.
There you go.
So part of us has a responsibility, a calling to train them properly in their lifetime. The world's influence is dramatic, extreme right now. Makes it very, very difficult. But eventually, yes, they do have to be their complete own person. And they have to be completely 100% accountable for their own actions. Even if I jack them up for 15 years, eventually you're going to have to overcome that if they want to be okay in life. You want to use me as an excuse for the next 30 years, that's fine. Be miserable for 30 years. That's on you. You see? Nobody perfect. And in your 30 years, you're going to find out everybody got issues and everybody messed up. And you're going to be like, damn, I wasted 30 years getting mad at my parent. And I made the same mistakes they did, but in different ways. And I've betrayed people on accident. And I wasn't there when I needed to be there. And I did it. You know, it is part of life, man. You know what I'm saying? This is part of growth and learning. So yeah, but this world wants our children. They're going to eat them alive. They want us to sacrifice them. You know, they want us to put them under the fire. They want they want us. They will reward us and give us incentives if we allow our children to participate in certain things. Try to sign up your children for Disney. Watch what happens. The less you allow your daughter to wear, the more camera time she finna be on. You see what I'm saying? Like these little things. We put my daughter in Disney before. I had to take her out.
You definitely don't want that Disney. That's the last place you want to drop off.
I didn't really, but the fact that she was so hung up on it, and I knew that my daughter was very successful and that she was very talented, I didn't want to take it away from her, for sure. I didn't want to take it from her, and she knocked it out the park, and absolutely they wanted to sign her up, and I was like, no. It's not going in this direction. I don't like the direction it's going. I don't like from the audition to what you want her to do next. No, this is a big jump up. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, she's a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old kid. No, not happening. So, you know, I pulled her out of that, but it is what it is. But I want to lighten it up real quick. I want to lighten it up. Absolutely good. So what we're gonna do real quick is we're gonna do word association, y'all. Okay, I don't even know if So you got 3 words. We have hold on. We have 3 words that you can respond with. Okay, 3 words you can respond with. Okay, whatever 3 words you want. So I'll start with Rasha.
Of course.
And yes, because I don't want Jimmy to do good and then to give you an outlet. No. I want your response to be organic. Yeah. I want this to be organic. This got to be organic.
Wow.
I need a real reaction out of you right now.
Okay.
Because this is significant. This is exactly. There's just some depth to this, but I want to present it to you. 3 words. Kamala Harris.
Don't have enough.
Okay. No, 3 words. No. They can't expound. We know what that means.
What does that mean?
Exactly what you said.
Don't have enough anything. Probably a little bit of wit and heart, but that's about it.
No, that's not.
But I think
Her husband got enough.
I think we know when you mentioned her name in regards to what that connects to. Like, we're not saying, hey, how's she as a friend? I think we talking presidential
Politics.
Yeah. I think she wants to expound on that a little bit.
But she's not allowed to. That's why it's called word association. No, okay. How about this? I'll give you a redemption. Pick 3 new words. I'll let you do it again, but be more thoughtful in the 3 words you use.
I will.
Okay, come on. Kamala Harris, go ahead.
Being controversial, so need more information. That's how I feel about Kamala.
Oh, about her. Okay, good. Okay, good. Jimmy, what do you think? 3 words. Kamala Harris.
I don't know.
Okay.
Damn, them 3 words though.
I was like,
I'm gonna leave it at that. I think that's a good answer.
Okay, mines are gonna be this. White and Indian. Help me understand what she is. I don't get it. I see a whole bunch of Indian pictures of her when she's young, with all Indian stuff and traditional Indian stuff. You know, like from the East India over there, and then she has a white husband. So I don't get the connect here. You gotta let me know where
my girl went to Howard.
Okay, where she went to?
From that HBCU. You know what I'm saying? You can't do her like that.
Well, I think that's what it is. I think some of her some of the things she's participated in life have given her the feel of a sister.
Well, her dad is Jamaican.
Her dad is Jamaican?
Absolutely.
Was she part black?
I didn't know. I thought she was part Indian and white.
Nah,
you show it to me.
misinformed. You misinformed there, brother.
Who's all the Indian people?
Well, she looked black
that's her mom?
anyway, more than anything.
Oh, her mom's
So her
Indian.
mom is Indian.
Okay.
I'm not sure what a white.
Yeah.
How that Jamaican dude get up in that
But I
Indian
know
girl?
that her dad is. God, they were professors, you know.
Oh,
so
they was in school
the
together?
knowledge was combined,
Okay,
so they
okay.
connected with the
Okay, I feel you.
information they had.
Okay.
But she looks like she definitely looks
Okay.
like a black woman.
You know,
like that's undeniable.
No, for me, she looks mixed. Well, the thing is, you know, you're black. Rashi, you're black.
No doubt.
Anything outside of that color right there, we got.
Do Miss Harris like that either? Let me, and I got 3 different words too. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Okay, go ahead.
My 3 words and my final real 3 words. Our best choice.
Agreed. Now
That's
I
what I'm
agree
gonna run with her.
I feel you. I feel you.
I need
I hear
more. Like, so I'm, as of today,
What makes her?
voting for her.
I don't even want to ask that
no
question.
doubt
actually.
about it.
Okay,
100%.
okay. We're,
But I need more information. I would like more information.
we're gonna do this thing.
Yeah.
We're gonna speak on her. I'm gonna give you time to
Mhm.
research. Okay.
I've done a little research on it,
And we're
I
gonna
have
speak
too,
on
but-
before this week is out.
Her campaign.
We're gonna speak on her again. We're gonna speak on her again.
but
I want to get to a new name though.
okay.
Okay, you ready? Jimmy, we're gonna start with you. Elon Musk.
I don't know if I got 3 words
got
for
my
him. I got 1.
Okay.
I got 2 different ones.
3 or less. How about that?
Genius. I'm gonna start with that one. Revolutionary. You know, I'm gonna start with that one. And that last one I ain't gonna say. Listen. Like what I told you earlier. I ain't trying to get canceled.
No worries. No worries.
Yeah.
No worries. We got 2: revolutionary and genius.
I agree with you.
No, you gotta use your own words. Don't see what I'm saying. You're gonna just take his
They
words.
are making it
I was
easy.
gonna have words too. I was just
Okay.
saying I agree with him.
Okay.
So, if somebody try to cancel me, I hope they listen to the part where I say I agree with him. He is genius. He is revolutionary. He's also a crazy white man.
God,
Those are my
crazy.
3 words.
Oh, those 3 words. Okay.
Mine was going a little deeper than that, but you're
Yeah.
right on point with that.
Yeah, mine's dangerous.
I agree. I don't think you need any more after that one. I
Yeah.
think that sums up
That
all
was
3.
Yeah, but if I have to use the other 2, extremely powerful, dangerous, and extremely.
That goes without saying. In order to
Powerful.
be dangerous, you got to have power.
Yeah, but his power is different
It is.
It is.
because
it is.
his power is not just money. His power is
Mhm.
intellect, and his power
Mhm.
is like he's different. He has technology. He understands
Mhm.
technology, and he builds things, dangerous things,
Mhm.
trend set like next level things that we've never seen before. He's in your brain. He's building things to put in your brain,
Mhm.
in your body. You know, he has his cars. You know, he controls all his cars. You can shut them off at any time. You know, like all the things that he's building. Very, very dangerous. He owns X now, the old Twitter.
Mhm.
He bought him $44 million. He, very dangerous. So that's for sure. That guy he's a problem. If this world is really under the wrong hands and he's on their side, we're in trouble. He knows how to. He the type of he remind me of an old school slave master.
Elon Musk.
Yeah, and his daddy and them was, by the way, they moved to Africa, super rich, and then they got rich off, let's just say, blood diamonds, bro. You know what I mean? Like that's how he got all his wealth. They were from the mining. His father was had mining companies out there and whatnot. They grew up over there. But I say that because that type of power, like It's unheard of.
Now that's domination power.
Yeah, he'll put an entire nation of people
That's
under
global.
subjection. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. He has the technology and the ability to do
Mhm.
to really hurt us.
He thinks different. Like when you listen to what he says, the masses think one way, and Elon is pretty clear that he
Mhm.
thinks another way. And that's,
Mhm.
I jokingly said crazy, right? People might say eccentric, but it's scary because there's a number of things that I haven't necessarily agreed with that he's stated, and so because he has so much power, because he has so much intelligence, because now he also owns a media conglomerate, right? It's frightening for sure.
It is. Let's get another name in here. Okay. Drake. 3 words.
Has been canceled. Who is that?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find words of people that are in the news currently.
Who is
Not like us.
that?
Who is
Not
that?
like us. Oh,
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's 3 words.
yeah. All of them was 3 words,
Not like us.
and that's crazy right
A
there.
minor. 3 syllables.
Colonizer.
Colonizer.
Oh man, Drake, you getting brutally, yeah. Man. First one, corny. Let's start there. Second one, dope. I like Drake when he's really being Drake rapper. I'm not gonna say substance Drake, because he do have substance, but it's never for. Okay, let me change that word. Introspective Drake. I love that Drake because the substance he's right is not really never about for nothing major that could change anything, but that introspective Drake speaks to the person in you, the things you're dealing with. Hitmaker, he's all that.
He's a hit taker. He's not a hit maker. He's a hit taker. Do you see his new? Did you hear his new song?
Which one?
I don't want to be canceled. I don't want to be canceled. No. So he got a new song with Lil Yachty.
But Yachty, yeah.
Yeah. So, oh yeah, he just came
About
out
2 weeks ago.
Oh man,
right?
no, like about a week ago.
Last Friday.
But bang, I heard the song.
Really?
I'm like, oh my god, he saved the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Drake done saved the summer.
I have to hear it.
I know you do. Until I researched it, I don't want to get canceled.
What's the name of it?
So the song is called Super Soak with Drake and Lil Yachty.
About the water gun.
No, I'm gonna let's see.
It's about the water gun by a Tuskegee
Gonna do it real quick because it was only a snippet. I doubt it was already. But okay, so this is a quick snippet. Hold on.
Yeah, I need. I think I hear it in there. I'm trying to catch on to it. Missed that part right there. Mhm. His voice
Anyways,
distracting me right now.
So that's the new hit. But let me show you.
It's
There's a gentleman.
Franco.
There's a gentleman called Mr. Hotspot. Mr. Hotspot, and he wrote a song called "Goodness Gracious," and this is Mr. Hotspot's "Goodness Gracious." You ready? Let me know what you think about it. By the way, I like this version better.
I was about to say this is
I've
a hit.
been banging this one. Since I heard this, I've been banging this one nonstop. I wish this one would blow up. This one, the lyrics, everything. I said to my daughter, I thought about your smile when I heard this song. I said it to my daughter.
because the
It makes you
substance,
feel good.
the substance still in it.
Yes.
Drake took
So
the substance out and just made
he
it.
took a hot part.
Yeah,
He took
yeah,
the hot. You took Mr. Hot
yeah,
Spot, bro. Like,
yeah.
you know, and I know Drake add to it. Don't get me wrong. They put a nice beat on it and whatnot. But
Wow.
I'm starting to lose my taste for dude's music because every time I hear a good song from him, I'm instantly going to YouTube to find another version, a
Mhm.
reference track or something. Because I'm like, this guy, because it's steady happening. God, like I just think God's Plan was a reference track from someone else, and all these guys' biggest hits, like even the first one from that he had with Soldier Boy, you know, and Call Me Through the Phone, and that
Mhm.
literally took his whole phone. So you know, but
So
that
do we
there.
think Drake's manufactured at this point?
Yeah. So because he's white enough to bring black culture into, I mean, white culture to black culture. You know what I'm saying? Like he's black, but he's not black. This is kind of what Kendrick was talking about. Like he's black enough.
Not like us.
He's not like us though. He's black enough, but he didn't grow up around this culture. He grew up around a different culture, and he's using the culture to benefit off the culture. Is what he's saying, and you can see it. You can see it in how he talks and walks. He doesn't eat and breathe the culture. He eats and breathes creativity, music, and art. That yes, he's wonderful at it. But when you're talking culturally, he misses the beat. And he has to overplay his hand. This super gangster, this super this, this super that. We all know he wasn't all that. He was on Nickelodeon, bro. Like, like we keep forgetting that part. He didn't live a survival lifestyle. He lived a rich lifestyle for the most part.
Well, I don't think we're a monolith, okay?
Huh?
And you know,
Mhm.
there are black people who are wealthy, who are middle class. So I don't, you know, I get it that that's usually the story we tell, the survival story. You know, like oh, I got it out the mud. So you know, that's not his story. I'm okay with that.
And it
I
don't
guess
have
I'm
to
okay
be.
with
it
it.
doesn't have to be.
It
I'm
don't
okay
have to
with
be.
it.
But I guess my issue with Drake, and I've never been a fan before the whole Kendrick thing,
Mhm.
was, you know, I don't feel like I don't feel blackness radiating off of him through the screens. Like when he was in that TV show, like I watched, I don't know, I was asleep one night, woke up, and I see, I don't listen. No, again, never been a fan. But the show that he was on, and I was like, that's Drake. Like, you know, I never got a vibe from him that he was anything other than what he is, you know. A man who probably is like culturally ambiguous and gets to move in and out of
Nah.
spaces.
Kendrick said he ain't seen a man yet.
Well, yeah.
He hasn't. Listen, he not married. He has kids out of wedlock with strippers.
And,
All his
and
songs
granted, those
speak
are all
of
great points.
premise,
Right?
you know, all his songs speak of
Yeah.
absolutely. So he's not showing a mature approach in his career at this point. He's not showing any maturity in he's actually doing everything he can to stay connected to the young children. Songs with Lil Yachty, not songs with Sexy Red, just putting people who don't align with his original image in the first place, which is hip hop. He was supposed to come on as this great hip hop hope, and J. Cole turned into that, you know, and he turned into the industry machine. And they can use him, and they do use him. They gave him a $400 million contract, you know, and he's doing his thing. Don't get me wrong, and I like a lot of his music. Like he said, just keep making me dance, and then it won't be no threat. Stick to what you're doing that we enjoy. You know, this other stuff is a bit cringeworthy. Like he said, you know, it's like when you're teeter-tottering on rap battles and you're telling someone else, why you rapping like you freeing the slaves? That's it's like it's weird. You're it's leaking out of you that you don't see yourself like us in reality. You see what I'm saying? Like you don't see it because the points that you're making are making our point, so to speak. That that you're not really part of this culture. You know what I'm saying? So
I think with
it is what it
Drake
is.
though, man, he's you know, he got too cocky at one point. I think that what messed him up. And I think what blew him up to that point to make him cocky was how people was viewing him. You know, people don't take their accountability and help creating that monster.
They did.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about somebody who was literally looked at as a cornball at first.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, you see the
Still is,
progression as it was going up and up, and his confidence getting up and up. when he grew that beard, it was over with.
Beard,
He ain't letting that
nice
go.
beard is good.
He ain't letting that go. You know what I mean? Listen, his confidence is up. Now you getting the braids. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like, here's the thing, right? You're dealing with an interracial, a biracial kid. So he has that duality where he has this black side to him, he has this white side to him. But if he grew up in a more Jewish community and household and values, that black ain't in him like that. But when he is inspired by a game music wise that is dominated by blacks, that's like playing basketball or anything, right? He's not trying to jump in there as the great white hope or the great biracial hope. We already got Eminem. That's sold up on the white hope side, you know.
But there's a place for like the Justin Biebers, the Justin Timberlake. I mean, is it Justin Bieber?
Bieber.
Yeah, Bieber. I like the Bieber.
And it's Timberlake. Okay, I just have to make sure I got my boys straight. So Justin Timberlake, Justin Bieber, they there's a place for them, right? Robin Thicke.
Robin Thicke.
They kinda,
the blue eyed soul.
Right.
But what they
And
never
so-
do is give instructions to our children, telling them to run away at 17 on teenage fever, telling them to be promiscuous and doing all that. This is the difference. His content to the children is getting to them. We're skipping some of his content. They're not skipping any of his content. They're hearing him clearly.
Agree. And I guess that was my point, right? Like there was a place for Drake where he didn't have to come into a space and capitalize. And I'm not here to argue how black he is, how white he is. The thing is,
we here to argue everything. I ain't trying to hear that.
See, Franco want all the smoke today. That's what he's trying to lead you into.
Want to take me out today. But I like great. He's biracial. Great. He can move in and out of different spaces. I don't think being biracial is required to move in and out of different spaces, right? But I think how you relate to how you were raised. So however Drake was raised, that is a part of him. What I have never gotten from Drake is a feeling of genuineness. And when I say I didn't feel like the black radiating off of him, that's what I meant. Like it's not
100%.
genuine. It seems to be contrived, right? It seems to be somebody acting as if there's something that they are not. And that is what radiates off Drake to me. So maybe in a different space, if he had stayed in the pop space, I don't know that would have felt genuine. But I don't feel genuine from rap. Like when people start saying he's the best, because to your point about people building this monster, absolutely. I've heard people say Drake is the best rapper. Like get the out of here, right?
I think Drake is dope.
I think he's dope. We all think he's dope.
I think Drake is one of the best.
I don't even think Drake should be classified as a rapper. How about that?
An artist. He's an artist.
He's an artist. Let's put pop star.
You.
Like let's put him and Beyonce in the same category.
I think he's very poppy.
Like, I can agree to that.
He rap when he get an artist from Atlanta though.
But we can't take him out of not being the rapper either, because he does that.
He does.
Beyonce has rapped.
But she's not a rapper.
Right.
So that's what she's saying. Drake raps, but he's not a rapper.
But Drake didn't come in. Drake didn't come in as a pop star either. Drake Drake came in and had to earn.
I don't know, man.
Drake came in and had to earn his. He came in and did what he had to do. Before it was Drake, and when Drake first came on the scene, I noticed him right off the back. I said, "Yo, this guy's special."
Drake better than Nas?
Because.
Is Drake better than Nas?
It depends on the criteria. It depends on the criteria.
Right now, but when we talk about is Drake better than Nas as a rapper?
He got more hits than Nas overall. He done put out so much damn music.
He's a pop star.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He done put out so much music.
I would
MC wise, no, nowhere near.
Okay.
You know what I mean? MC wise, but a bigger artist did bigger things in terms of the culture with his run. Not did for the culture what he did in it, because he has did nothing for the culture. The first album alone, no different than say a Lauryn Hill, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Illmatic has birthed so many more rappers. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that raps with substance, with just substance. Period. Drake, for me, like I said, when he first came in the game, I was like, this guy's special because I instantly noticed this guy's a better version of Lil Wayne. He's a better, no, he was because he sounded he was rapping damn near just like, and this is when Wayne was, this is when Wayne, and heavily influenced by Wayne.
And got a tattoo on his face. Trying to cover up with it.
Heavily influenced by Wayne. And this one, Wayne was on his run, but he was also coming down. And as he was coming down, Drake coming up. And he just did it better. He was starting to do it better.
Master P?
100%. That shouldn't even be like.
Yeah.
Listen, Master P. I mean,
Master P is
Now, Master P did more for the culture than Drake.
Okay. Yeah, he do.
Impact wise.
What I'm saying though. Would you put them in the same category?
No.
Drake and Master P?
Yeah.
Hell no. They don't.
Okay.
So not even the same sentence.
Right?
Yeah.
So why are we putting Drake in the rap?
We talking skill set.
Drake is not in the rap game.
But he knows how to rap, and he probably raps better than 95% of other people.
He does.
But Beyonce can't rap 95% better than people.
I've heard people say that Beyonce is the top rapper, the top female rapper today.
But then there's a rapper.
Stop it, man. Who you listening to?
Oh my God.
Who you having these conversations with?
It was all people were saying that. It was celebrities who were saying that. As a matter of fact, it was a rapper.
My brain is too tight.
First of all, who the hell you think
my brain's too tight.
writing Beyonce raps?
Somebody said Beyonce was the best female rapper today. Like, right
come
now.
on, man. That's I guarantee you that came from the Beehive.
Rap, then. If Jay-Z wrote a rap, but then if that's the case though, then is Drake really the best because he got ghostwriters too?
That's his knock. That's his knock. But you know, listen. Everybody, all that man rhymes ain't wrote by somebody else.
No, I agree.
All of them ain't wrote by somebody else.
That makes him the best,
and when you take away the one, listen here, they said the same thing with Jay-Z. They said,
what?
Biggie, you swiping Biggie rhymes. You swiping.
If Biggie had lived,
you swiping Pac rhymes.
Right? Like to me, Biggie is the best. Like
here's the thing about that, right? No one could say what it would have been. We only could say what it had been because of how it left off.
Right.
When he got killed, he was at the top of he hadn't. Here's I tell people all the time right now in terms of Biggie. One of my biggest regrets about Biggie's death, other than just the obvious, this guy been taken away from his family and all that, lost his life, cut short. My biggest regrets in terms of the game, rap game with Biggie is I don't think we ever got a chance to hear his best shit yet.
We did it, right?
And that damn Life After Death is the greatest fucking rap album created.
10 Crack Commandments.
That's the greatest album, but I don't think that was even the best Biggie.
It wasn't, right? Because he was just getting into it.
Yeah.
So is Drake better than Biggie?
Hell no.
Okay, but my point is,
you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking because you guys said that Drake is the best.
He had more life. He had more life.
No,
we're saying Franco, he has more life than Biggie too.
Pun intended.
For sure. But I guess I'm asking, is he better than these people? Because you guys say he's one of the top 10. Yeah,
I think he
has
more hits. So where does
he fall in the top 10? 10?
No.
Because
it depends
Nas is definitely higher. Biggie's higher.
It depends on what we're actually saying, though. What we're actually claiming.
What you basing?
Who has
the best hits ever? Probably Drake. But because he even beat Michael Jackson's a lot of Michael Jackson's records and stuff.
He did.
Like so
because he's pop, so they in the same category. So yes, I believe that.
I agree with that part. I do agree.
But
I thought he was hip hop initially, but his career has been more of a pop career than a hip hop career.
But when we using that word, here's the thing: when we using that description, he's pop like that's something wrong.
No, we're not.
Here's the thing: how do you think you get to become pop? You didn't enter the game pop. That means you was doing your thing so hard that now you didn't just got bigger than what you came in on. Michael Jackson didn't even come in pop.
He came in R&B.
But he became that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Beyonce didn't come in pop, but she became that.
I think Drake found the space, and he, as far as artistry, I'm not knocking it. Like, again, I've never been a fan. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There might be a couple songs that I know if you played them right now, I might be like, okay, you used to call me on my cell phone. I think that's one of them, right? Other than that,
these poppy tunes.
Right. Exactly. Like I don't know much about Drake, but I know that when you say best rapper, I start to look at
Yeah,
the other
I don't think
rappers that
Drake.
I
Whenever you
know.
say best rapper, I never think Drake. Drake's never the first person to come in my mind.
Never.
Artists,
I
I just
like, how many
artists. When they're
people-
like,
how
"Who the
many-
top artist right
I
now?"
would say
I do
artists.
consider
I would go with
Drake
artists.
up there as a top artist.
Yeah, I would go with artists.
Yeah, but specifically, I think J. Cole's a better rapper.
100%.
Kendrick is a better rapper.
100%.
Rakim, Nas is a better rapper, so to
Listen,
speak.
and
You
the
know,
list goes on and on
they're
and
not as
on.
catchy as
Like,
him
when
though.
you got
They don't have better
Wu-Tang,
melodies,
when you have
harmonies,
Wu-Tang,
etc.
Every guy in Wu-Tang is better than Drake to me. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, I get it.
Like, so that's
As
how many
in rapping,
people-
in rapping.
and rapping.
In rap.
That would put Drake at the very.
Here's the thing about this conversation.
Mhm.
I always try to draw a parallel to basketball or different sports, right? Drake to me has always been the league's LeBron. He's LeBron to me because he's done what he's done for his generation in the culture of music and all that. He's most popular. He's this, he's that, right? They say LeBron can't be the GOAT. He can't be this, although he's compiling these accolades up, running them up past Mike, running them up past Kobe, right? No dirt on his name, all that. But then you can't be the GOAT because Mike went to 6 straight finals, never went to a game 7. These are the criteria they put in front of people like this. Mike never played on different teams. He won it with this and that. But then somebody, a LeBron fan could say, this boy's been going to the finals, going to the playoffs or the finals or whatever every year since he's been in the league. They could say things like this to support their claim, but he didn't win none. He
That
didn't win.
matters though.
But here's the thing, that doesn't also, but Franco, that
like,
also doesn't take away the fact
no.
who the hell then went to the finals or got that final
He the
playoffs
best
every
final-
year straight out of high
So
school.
LeBron is the best final get-to-er ever.
The
But
I
best
agree.
final gets
because
to-
it depends on what we're actually looking for from it. Because if we're saying who's the greatest ever, winning has to matter. Who
I agree.
won the most has to matter.
Mhm.
If we're saying who's the best artist, who makes the most, who has the most hits, have to
Here's-
matter. But it's different
Ah.
criteria.
Here's the okay.
We
here-
can't generalize these things.
Here's the other thing, right? That I have a problem with that with.
Uh-huh.
Just like with rap, like with basketball. Why do we like to say when we're talking GOATs and we like to talk this and that? Why we try to act like rap started with Biggie and Pac?
It didn't. Oh, for
Didn't.
This
I
is
say
always the
Rakim.
criteria.
Rakim, best
Why
rapper.
do we act like basketball started with Michael Jordan?
It didn't.
Because it did. Oh, my bad.
See how you ready you are as a fan? Why we sitting up here acting like when we're talking about rings? Why we stop at 6 rings? Mike got 6, LeBron got, and trust me, I'm one of the biggest Michael Jordan fans and LeBron. I respect both and Kobe, right? But why do we stop at Mike's 6 rings and we say, because I'm just talking facts now. We say he had 6, LeBron only got 4, Kobe only had 4, whatever the case is, 5. But Will didn't have shit. Will didn't have nothing.
Well,
But I'm
Dr.
going to
J,
bring
was it Dr.
somebody
J?
else into this. So Mike, and then we constantly showing a picture of Mike with the hand up and the 6 rings on his finger, like he. But why ain't nobody talking about Bill Russell 11 rings?
There you
Yeah.
go, Bill Russell. That's what I knew it was one of them.
Why we ain't talking about Bill Russell 11 rings?
He the GOAT.
Nah, they ain't gonna say that because it don't look good.
Well, and I was having this conversation recently with my aunts, right? Who I didn't realize they were big sports fans, but they were like, Dr. J, like naming names and saying
That was their
nobody ever-
era.
Nobody
Was
ever
generational,
put
yeah.
That was
respect-
their era.
Nobody ever put respect on his name, and I was just like,
Mike wiped that out.
Yeah. I think
why.
but this is I think when we're speaking artistry,
Mhm.
art is self-reflective in a sense. So it's no one's wrong, no one's right. No one can actually be the greatest. You can only be the greatest to people who relate to you.
Exactly.
Someone else can hate you and hate your style. So art and all these things, these are all there cannot really be right. There cannot be a real number one greatest person. That's why it has to be broken down into compartments of truth. Like, who's the best-selling artist ever? Drake. Who's the best, most impactful rapper ever? Probably Tupac. Who's the best lyrical person ever? Probably Biggie. Sure. So when we break it down, then we can get some understanding of it. But it is going to be, we're always going to argue if all of us try to pick three different people to say they're the best at the same thing, and they all have different different accomplishments according to that. And we have to find out what that criteria really is.
Right?
Yeah, and
because
that's
we
all
know
of
that.
Because that's another argument.
Mike that's so that LeBron could.
But I think that's why we go with Mike to the point of Mike, though. I think why we still put Mike up there is because he's crossed over generations. He's crossed over eras. That's the thing. Dr. J didn't cross over. When Mike came in the league, it was over with for Dr. J in them Converse. It was over for, this whole new regime coming in now. This man revolutionized the sneaker game.
He did.
We 20, 30 years later.
Yeah, I didn't realize that Nike was like, about to go bankrupt, right? Until they came across Mike and
he saved their life.
Yeah,
that boy saved their life.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
And he was wise. I think he was one of the first ones that made wise business decisions.
His mother
kept him. Yeah.
It was ridiculous. 30 million.
Mother.
When I heard he was making 30 million a year, I was like, what?
She told them this contract is cool or whatever, but you got to write him in on the stocks. He got to have some ownership in this. And he's been paid off that contract ever since. That's what got him billionaire Mike. The man only made I think they say 25 million over the course of his career playing in the league. And this was the greatest player of all time.
Yeah. And the people have followed that, right? Like Shaq came along and did things to follow that. So you see, he kind of set a blueprint in more than one way. And LeBron, I think, is setting blueprints in other ways, right? Like, I love the nature of LeBron and Savannah and how pure their families seem.
Their kids and all.
Again, I don't want to hold them to a standard, right? Because who knows, right?
What goes on behind.
Absolutely. I'm not trying to set them up for failure by putting them on a pedestal, but I'm just saying I love the fact that that's one thing that Mike did not accomplish, right? But it was a different era too. Like this generation is seeming to be more like, let's get married, let's have a family, let's build together. Or they are. They are. The 30-year-olds and stuff, they're out here. They're building families now. The ones a little younger than that. There's some things going on. But they are. They're if you look at statistics, marriage rates are actually
they're going up.
Yeah, people are actually getting married and staying married. So, I think that there's a undercurrent, even if it's not the most popular thing that we see, of Black families, Black men and women who are saying we're going to get married, we're going to build a family, we're going to build wealth together. And I feel like they're kind of the representation of that, high school sweethearts who have been moving. And that's the beautiful thing.
I agree. I hear Frank on put the groove theory music back on
because
he has to get ready to go.
We've been here for a while. We've been here for a while. But I think we had some great conversation. Doesn't look like we're blocked yet. So let's see how it all goes. I do appreciate everybody who popped in, even for shortly. It looked like we had probably like over 100 views already. I started seeing them pile up. So thank y'all for popping in, for whoever did. And we're going to keep this consistent. It's going to keep developing and evolving. It may not look the same every day or every week, but we're going to keep on finding what we need, finding everything that we need to keep your engagement and to keep your attention and to give you whatever we have of value and also that can entertain you. So to keep that in mind, you can check us out at this time. Our sponsors do include www.thenaturalbranches.com, www.brandedelevation.com, and www.americatapin.com. This is a American Podcast Information Network program here. So with that said, I appreciate everybody. Check in with us if you guys have questions, concerns, want us to talk about certain topics, want us to address certain things, have any type of critique, feel free to reach out, send me a message, reply, and we'll go from there. Until then, grace and peace to everybody. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Drive safe and do right. You dig? Bye,
Yeah.
everybody.